We're speaking with Reggie Littlejohn of Women's Rights Without Frontiers. Tell me today about your testimony before Congress about the one-child policy. The Chinese don't even really need that policy anymore, do they? Isn't their population control problem actually going the other direction now?
That's right, Paul. The Chinese population problem right now is not that they have too many people. It's that they have too few young people to support their rapidly aging population, and they have too few women. So the one-child policy serves no purpose whatsoever and is in fact destructive at this point.
Well, tell me, why do you think the Chinese government then still has the one-child policy?
Well, that's the topic of my testimony today. Given the fact that the one-child policy is actually destroying Chinese society demographically right now, there's no reason to continue it. Why are they continuing it? And I believe it's because in the beginning, the one-child policy was instituted in 1980 because there was a population explosion under the Mao era. And the terror of forced abortion, of being dragged out of your home in the middle of the night and strapped down to a table and forced to abort a baby you want, was a byproduct of the policy. Their focus was on population control. But now that they don't need that population control, I believe the reason they are continuing the policy is because of the terror. I believe that it is a way for the Chinese Communist Party to demonstrate to every human being in China that their power extends from Beijing, the arm of their power extends from Beijing to every single womb in China to declare life or death over the baby in there.
Also now, don't they make a fortune off of this? Because as well as the fact that you might have your baby aborted, you can be fined, and these fines can be quite excessive, right? So are they making a fortune off this on the side?
They are absolutely making a fortune off of this on the side, and according to one estimate, the Chinese Communist Party has taken in $314 billion since the institution of the one-child policy. And it's like the Wild West out there. These fines are not uniform throughout the country. They're not even uniform. It depends on which family planning police officer shows up at your door, what your fine is going to be. And so there's no accounting for it either. And so a lot of these fines are just going to line the pockets of the local officials.
Now also, I imagine that this must have a terribly disruptive effect on the trust among people in China. Like, is that true? Has this ruptured the relationships of trust across the country?
Yes, that's my third point in my testimony today, is that the one-child policy is enforced with a cadre, a network of paid informants, so that women are constantly being spied on by their neighbors, their friends, their co-workers, people who are hired in the villages just to watch women's abdomens to see if anybody looks pregnant. Anyone can inform on them, which what that does is it ruptures all the relationships of trust in Chinese society. And if you can't trust anyone, you can't organize for democracy. So I believe this is a divide and conquer strategy by the Chinese Communist Party.
If there's one case that you can think of that you've heard about in your years of working with this, is there one woman in her story that just is particularly poignant?
There's a woman who's forcibly aborted a few years ago, dragged off the street. She was 7 months pregnant, and after they were done forcibly aborting the baby that she desperately wanted, they actually came in and demanded payment for them to dispose of the body, and the woman didn't have any money. So they just laid the body of her baby right next to her on the bed. And I've got a photograph of her looking down and just grieving the loss of this forcibly aborted baby. So the cold-heartedness of the family planning police is just something that's beyond the imagination of Western people.
All right. Well, good luck with your testimony today on Capitol Hill. Thank you so much. Reggie Littlejohn, Women's Rights Without Frontiers.
Thank you.